This is something that's really creative and innovative. It's not something that you need to worry about trying to create exactly what I do, because hopefully you'll come up with something even better and more exciting and works better for you. This is more to give you an idea of the props and the steps, and then you can jump off from that. So it'll be fun. I hope it'll be fun for you, and I know it'll be fun for me because it's just silliness, and that's part of what this is all about, is having a good time in what is a stressful time. So there are some props that I find absolutely essential. One of them is stuffing your scarf. Now, when I was a teenager, I never stuffed my bra like a lot of girls supposedly did, but I stuffed my scarf, and you're going to want to stuff your scarf too, and I'll show you why. So here's like a little thing. I always like to use a skull cap underneath my scarves for the most part, because they allow the scarf to stick better. But if you just put this on your head like this, you look like a bald person with a skull cap on, right? But if you stuff it, and this is just another one of these skull caps that I've folded up. You can use like a pair of socks. You can use whatever you want. Hopefully something that's not going to make your head sweat. I'd go with cotton. But anyway, stick it in there and then put it on your head, and it provides you a little bit of height. And then once you put a scarf over the top of that, it won't look so awkward, but it will give you some height, and it'll look like you have a big bun of hair underneath your hat. You got that? Yep. The ones that I have here actually came from the TLC catalog, which the American Cancer Society will send to you. I have friends of mine who used like the things people put under their biking helmets that you can get from, you know, REI, EMS, any of those. I don't want to plug those guys, but at the same time, the things that go underneath bike helmets, they breathe well. So you want something that's going to breathe well. Okay, so we've got our little stuffed skull cap. We'll go with just a plain old scarf here. Let's see. Okay. I've seen a lot of literature that says you need a scarf of a specific size in order to do something for your head, and that's completely not true. That's one of the cool things about scarves. You can use whatever you have. In fact, these two, which I use, came from a pair of pants. See, they're hollow. They were the legs of a pair of pants, but I cut them off to use as scarves, and I'll show you how to do that. It's just cool because you can use whatever you have. You don't have to go out and buy a whole lot of stuff. It's fun to go out and buy new scarves, of course, but you don't have to do that. I'm pretty partial to scarves with fringe. You'll notice that as I do the scarves, and the reason I like the fringe is because it provides a softness to your face when you get the scarf on. It kind of hangs down and gives you kind of that vertical line that makes you think of hair. I think everybody thinks of hair, even unconsciously, and so it provides that same thing. And that's actually why I wear really big earrings too. That's always a good thing when you don't have hair. Just provides that line down your neck that you're used to seeing on people. So, okay, so we'll start with this scarf. Lots of times when you're in chemo and you have a really voluminous scarf, you're tired, essentially. So sometimes, rather than trying to tie it right on my head, which can be really tiring because you got a lot of material here and it's hard to get a grip on it. So sometimes I'll use a prop like this. This is a water bottle, and it just helps to get that initial tie. You can use anything in your house. Another thing you can do is, can you get this, Georgina? Yeah. Is use a big pot. You know, this is just an upside down pot that I'm tying it on. And then I'll move it to my head to finish, but I'll show you why how difficult that can be. It seems like such an easy thing, but especially when you've got chemo arms, meaning your strength is not what it normally is, it can be a little frustrating. So you're wanting to tie it, as my friend says, like a nun, essentially behind your head. Oh, I got it right that time. Sometimes I don't, and it's really frustrating. Okay, so tie it really tight. Make sure you get a good knot on there because obviously you don't want it coming off. Okay, the thing about scarvings, the really basic thing about them is twisting and tucking. Those two things will always do you well. So twisting, 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 twisting. And we're going to just move it over like that. Now, since I'm going to want this one to stay here while I work on this one, I'll use like a little, it's always good to have pins around. Make sure you don't poke your head, because that never feels good. And these pins aren't going to stay in my scarf. They can, and that's why I like the ones with the colored little knobbies. First of all, they're easier to find when you're taking your scarf off so that you can take them out. And also with the little colored knobbies, then you can match it to your scarf so it doesn't stick out so much. But in this case, I don't think I'll need to keep a pin in there. Anyway, so that's going to sit there while I mess with this other one, which has decided to attach itself to my earring. That's a first. All right, so we're twisting again. Okay, so twisting, twisting, then tuck in to the first rope. See what I'm doing here? Twisting. I've got the second rope and I've twisted in there and just tucked it into the first rope, okay?
Rich, could you get that okay? Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm going to take out this pin because now I can work with this one. Okay. All right, now let's see what we want to do with this. This is where the creative thing is. You know, you get to do it however you want to do it. So I'm going to tuck that one in again and start back the other way. I kind of like the asymmetrical thing. So I'm going to end up with everything over on this end, this side. Let's see. Okay, so there's no pins in there. It's not coming off. Got a little bit of the hang thing that I always like because, as I said, it makes me feel like I have some hair. And because this scarf has a lot of color and movement to it, I don't feel like I need any kind of decorative pin or anything like that.
Just gonna do some close-ups here.
Okay.
Stay there. You can maybe use these as type of cutaways.
Mm-hmm.